What's going on, guys? So, I've had a couple of people ask me about this, and I've been kind of holding off on doing a video uh, just because I wanted to kind of watch things a bit and continue getting some information from some folks. But since guys are asking, instead of having to say it, a dozen different times, it's easier just to put this up and then everybody can see it. So, hot topic in the news: coronavirus. So, here's my thoughts on it for those that have asked and were interested. If you are currently panicking over this virus, then you're wrong. If you are not paying extraordinarily close attention to this virus with a very keen eye, you're wrong. So, what do I mean by that? It ain't time to freak out. There's no reason to freak out. It's not the end of the world yet. Zombie apocalypse hadn't happened yet. But the key words in all that is yet, meaning there's potential there. And now, let me stop here. I know potential is a big word, and some of you really smart people have a problem with words like that, because while it's a big word, it's a simple word, and sometimes the simple words throw you all off. So for the really, really smart people, go look up the word potential in the dictionary, okay? I know we're using, lower things here. So this has the potential to get pretty bad. Now, by pretty bad, probably, maybe, not like quite what you're thinking. So, I'll preface everything I'm about to say. I've got a couple of close friends who are practicing medical professionals, very tuned in on things, whose word I take pretty closely. A couple other things to establish up front. Anything you hear coming out of China on official Chinese news sources is probably a 98% lie. In other news, water is wet. Probably a large amount of what you're hearing from the U.S. government and other world government organizations is probably also not accurate. So now that we've established all that, what I'm getting from my friends is that basically this virus, when you catch it, you have about a 2-week incubation period under which you show no visible signs that you are infected, all of which time you are capable of spreading it. After that, you usually come down with flu-like symptoms, which turns into basically something like a really, really bad case of pneumonia. Now, most pneumonia is bacterial in nature and can be treated with antibiotics. Viral pneumonia, pretty much all you can do, for the most part, there are exceptions, for the most part, is to treat the symptoms, keep the person alive long enough for the body to fight it off and develop antibodies to it, right? So that's where first world medicine comes in, of being able to keep someone alive while their body's fighting it via various medications, maybe even some cases having to be on oxygen or a respirator or whatever, depending on how bad the case gets. So all that established now. I'm getting somewhere with this, so bear with me. That's kind of what the disease does. It's fairly easily spread right now. And a lot of cases in China confirmed, multiple cases confirmed in various other countries, including the United States. The concern, though, is not the virus itself. I think this is a point a lot of people are missing. Not everybody, but a lot. The virus itself isn't the concern. As I said, we've got the capability of treating people that have the virus. The concern is this: how quickly does it start spreading? What is the public's reaction to it? And what are official government reactions to it? So think about this. Hypothetical. That's another big word you might have to look up in the dictionary. Some of you smarter folks. Some of you lesser educated layman folks, I'm sure y'all will get these. Hypothetically, what if this thing suddenly took off? Like it starts spreading fast, which is highly possible. And all of a sudden, you have your local hospitals inundated with people suffering from it. Like, say there's hundreds of people at every hospital come down with it. Even in smaller areas, a couple of hundred maybe. What happens if hospitals were to run out of rooms to put people in, especially isolation rooms where they could contain them to keep the virus from spreading, since it's apparently airborne? So now they've got people stacked up in whatever room or place or they can put them, maybe even in the hallways if they're overloaded with them, just laying on gurneys. They start running out of supplies and equipment to treat them because they're simply being overwhelmed with numbers. People catch on to that. People start panicking, doing stupid things that panicking people do. Maybe the government overreacts on it and does something similar to what China does, and all of a sudden you've got parts of entire cities being quarantined and locked down, etc., etc. Think about all that tied into economic situations. The stock market's already shown that it's a little bit wonky in relation to how things progress with this virus. Is when new numbers come out, it tends to kind of do crazy things. So it could potentially affect things economically. Think about right now all the things that are made in China that pretty much everybody depends on. And I'm sorry, don't give me the line about not buying anything from China. There's not a household in America that doesn't have something in it made in China. If you've got a television or computer, you've got something made in China. Just saying. That could seriously affect economic things across the world, okay? People getting stupid, as I said, can affect things. Now, it's easy to avoid the virus. If it got that bad, all you do is just stay home, right? As long as you've got food and water and supplies like that at home, you just shut the door, lock it, and stay there and don't go visit anybody. Simple enough, right? The catch that is you got to already have the food and water and supplies at home. But if you're a good survival preparedness type minded person, you should already have all that stuff anyway. So staying home shouldn't really be a big concern, right? There's one concern with that is if we all start having to stay home and not go anywhere, then people aren't going into work, which means jobs aren't getting done, which starts fitting in with that snowball effect of other things happening. So can you see where I'm going with this? The virus itself is not the thing to be concerned about. The bigger concern, in my book, is how fast it starts spreading and what kind of reaction there is to it, and it potentially overwhelming our medical facilities. So keep all that in the back of your heads as you're watching this. Don't get wrapped up in all the hyperbole that goes both ways of people making fun of anybody that gives, more than grazing attention to this, or the ones that are flipping out, panicking, saying it's time to go to the bunker, because we're not in either of those cases yet. Also, be very wary of anybody that has a crystal ball and tells you what this virus will or won't do, because they are a fraud and a liar if they do, okay? Nobody can see into the future. We don't know what this is going to do. We know what other ones have done in the past, but we don't know what this one's going to do because this isn't the same one as ones we've had in the past. This is a new one. It can do its own thing. It's kind of like with hurricanes. You kind of get a general idea what hurricanes are capable of, but each one is its own unique animal, and you can't base your response to one off strictly off of what other ones have done and say unequivocally where it will and won't go, et cetera, et cetera. So you don't know until it does its thing. This one's the same way. That's why we watch it. You pay attention to it. You be smart about it. And don't feed into the stupidity on either side. You know, kind of walk down that road and watch what's happening on the ditch on that side and watch what's happening in the ditch on that side, and stay on the road. Don't get off into the weeds either way. It's not time yet for that. Hopefully it won't come time for that, and in a couple of weeks or whatever, we won't even be remembering what this was. That's what I hope. But it very well could possibly not be the case. So pay attention. Keep your eyes and ears open. Now's the time, if you're behind the curve, make that extra trip to the grocery store. Buy stuff that you're already going to eat. You know, canned foods, things like that, that's already a staple of what your regular, meals are. Extra toilet paper. Water, if you don't have a way to get water. Because all those things are things that, if nothing happens, you're still capable of using anyway, and it's not wasted money, right? Always going to need toilet paper. Always going to need food, et cetera, et cetera. So, there's my whole take on the two things. I know it's kind of anticlimactic. Maybe not what some of you were wanting. Maybe not what some of you were expecting. But that's kind of where I see things as at. And that's kind of what my medical friends are telling me. It's very concerning what China's going on right now, because we can't trust any of the numbers coming out of it. It's not a good virus. It's not necessarily a zombie apocalypse, but it ain't good either. We need to watch it real close and be smart. So there you go, guys. Take care. Have a great weekend if you're watching this today, which if you're not watching this today, then the weekend might already be gone, because you might be watching this after the weekend. I don't know, but that's kind of like going down a time travel rabbit hole. Such is the case with YouTube. You guys take care, stay safe. Get out there and train regardless. You have to have training. And then you have to practice what you've learned in training. Then you got to go get some more. Wash, rinse, repeat over and over. Take care. I'll see you later.